Hi, welcome. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today we are going to do a new project together. This is the Reindeer Mosaic Stocking, and it is done in mosaic crochet in the round. No cutting your yarn at the end of every round, so it makes for a nice and neat transition there. You just simply drop your yarn and pick up the other color each time you get to the end of a round. So no pesky ends to weave in or figure out what to do with. We will do an afterthought heel on this. We'll start at the toe, work our toe, and then start our graph or written directions. There's both. We'll get here, we'll leave an opening for our afterthought heel. We'll continue on with the leg. We will do the cuff, and then we will come back and we will fill in the heel. And then I'll show you how I use leather and a hole punch, mine is ancient, to add a leather strip on. And if you choose, you can always crochet a loop or use twine or not put one on, or whatever you want to do is fine. I'm using Scapia's Color Crafter. I like this yarn. It has a huge color selection. There's like 90 some colors. So it is really nice when you're trying to find different colors or complementary colors. There's a lot of choices. It's also anti-pilling. It's extremely soft. It is a lightweight DK weight yarn. I have come to find that that is my preferred weight when working with yarn, so I seem to gravitate towards that for projects that I do. So we're going to use 2 colors of Color Crafter. Our leather and hole punch will come into play later. And aside from that, you're going to want a pair of scissors. You're going to want a 3mm hook if you're using DK yarn like me. And you're going to want a yarn needle. Now, if you are using worsted weight yarn or some other weight yarn, first of all, your stocking is going to end up being a different size, which is fine. But you're also going to want to alter what size hook you are using too. And I've made some notes about that in the pattern as well. So please definitely check that out. I will put the link down below for that. So let's go ahead and get started with the toe of our stocking. Okay, I am starting with color A, and my color A is a not white, but light stone color maybe. It's not really creamy, it's not really gray. It's kind of a nice in-between neutral off-white. So I'm gonna go ahead and make 7 single crochets in a magic circle. If you haven't done a magic circle before, what I do is 1 complete revolution around my index finger, and then with my middle finger and my thumb, I hold the tail of that yarn. And I'm going to go under the tail and grab the working yarn and bring it back under the tail, and now I'm going to chain 1. And then I will begin making my single crochets. So again, 7 single crochets inside your magic circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7. Now we're going to slowly start to close. I'm not going to pull it completely tight yet, because if you pull tight right now, I find that my first stitch kind of folds in to the center too, and I kind of lose it, and then I have to wiggle into it. So, or I'm going to wait to fully close, but you can certainly do whatever works best for you. So our row number 2 is 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So it's an increase in every stitch. So we're starting with 7, and we'll have 14 by the time we're done with this row. So we're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're using both loops too, by the way. 7, 8. These are just regular run-of-the-mill single crochets. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, and I'm going to do one more round before I pull this completely tight. So round 3 is 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and we're going to repeat that all the way around. So we're going to have an increase and then a single, and then an increase and then a single all the way around. And we will end up with 21 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, lost that one, let's do 20 again, 20, 21. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and pull the center of that completely tight. Be careful when you're doing that. It really stinks when that yarn breaks because you pull too tight, and you have to start over. So we have 3 rounds to 21 now. So we're going to carry on with the toe of our pattern just like that, regular old single crochet, increasing where the pattern calls to increase until we finish with row 17 and we begin our chart. So I'm going to go ahead and let you finish your toe rows, and I'm going to finish my toe rows, and we'll meet back here at the end of row 17 when we start working the chart or the written directions, whichever you prefer. Okay, so now with all 17 rows of the toe being done, you should end up with something that looks much like this, like a little bowl. So when folded in half, it looks like the toe of a stocking. I stopped 1 stitch short, and I use my tail from inside to mark where I'm at. I put it just before I start stitching each row so I know when I get to the end. I stopped 1 stitch short because I want to show you how I do my color change as I'm coming into the mosaic chart part of the stocking. So we're going to change to our color B on our last yarn over of our last stitch of the toe. So I'm going to go ahead and put my hook through, yarn over like I'm doing a regular single crochet, and then I'm going to do my last yarn over with the new color. And that gives it a nice transition to the brand new color. I'm going to set this yarn aside this way. I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to use it again next round, because we're going to switch every round back and forth, color A, color B. This is the beginning of the mosaic part of the stocking. So we are going to start crocheting mosaic style, which means all of our single crochets are in back loop only. So no longer both loops. We're back loop only now. And all of our double crochets are done in the front loop of the stitch 2 rows below. So this first round is all single crochet only. So we're not going to have any double crochets this first round, but we want to remember to make all of these single crochets in the back loop only. if you're unfamiliar with mosaic crochet, I have a very beginner-friendly video that talks you through exactly how the technique is done. And that might be a good one to watch if you're feeling a little lost right here. It's very easy to pick up. It is so much fun, and it results in some of the most beautiful patterns. So it's definitely worth learning. So we're just going to go ahead and single crochet and back loop only all the way around this first round. Okay, I have single crocheted all the way around. I'm 1 stitch short. I left 1 unworked because I wanted to show you once again how we make that transition. We're going to go back to our color A. So we're going to pick it up. It's just been hanging out right here. So we're going to go ahead and start that single crochet, the last one of the round, and then we're going to pick up color A and finish the single crochet with color A. So now you will work with color A, and we're going to tuck color B aside. Round 2 is also single crochet all the way around. Again, we are mosaic crochet all the way to the cuff from here. So all single crochets will be in the back loop only, and all double crochets will be in the front loop of a stitch 2 rows below. So let's go ahead and do another round of single crochet back loop only. Okay, we're getting close to finishing up this second round of single crochet only. And we're going to do another color change here. So I have 1 stitch left. I'm going to pull my red to the side here, yarn over, pick up the new color with that second yarn over and pull it through. All right, now this is where we start using our chart. Well, we were using our chart for the last 2 rows, I suppose, but now is where we have something other than a single crochet. And you'll have this chart in your pattern. So if you can't see it here, don't be surprised. Just follow along with the chart in your pattern or the written instruction. So we're working round number 3. So our first 3 stitches are going to be double crochet, and then we'll have a single crochet, and then we'll have 7 stitches that are double crochet, and then we'll have another single crochet, and we'll continue on. So we'll go ahead and start with those first 3 stitches in double crochet, and those are done in the in the front loop of the stitch 2 rows below. So it's the stitch in the same color that you're currently working. And that's so that we overlay these stitches. I didn't do a double. That is so we overlay these stitches to cover color A. So color A is going to be tucked underneath of these double crochets, and that's how the pattern emerges. So it's just nice and neat right over the top there. So now we have 1 single crochet, and then we have 7 double crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then a single crochet. So that's how we're going to carry on with this row. We're just going to do all the X's just like that, and all the non-X's, the empty boxes, just like that. Those are single crochets. And again, there is a wonderful beginner-friendly video on my YouTube channel for how to learn mosaic crochet if you're unclear with this part. So I would definitely encourage that video if you think that you need some extra help. So let's go ahead and finish up this row. And the next row is going to bring us to a new slanted double crochet stitch that I want to show you. So, okay, I'm coming to the end of round 3 here. I have 2 final double crochets to finish up, and on the last yarn over, same thing with a double crochet. On the last yarn over, I'm going to go ahead and pick up color A again. Tuck color B behind. Now we're ready to start round 4. Round 4 has the beginning of some slant stitches. So I decided to, with these mosaic stockings, do something a little new. And some of our double crochets are going to be on a slant. We've got the hooves here, and we've got one of the antlers. And then we've got our special stitch, which is the box notated with an S, is 2 slant stitches, sorry, these two slant stitches together. So this is a double crochet 2 together, but they're both on a slant. So we'll do all of these together, don't worry. Right now we're going to be working with the hooves, and they're very easy. You're making a double crochet just like you normally would. We're just making it in a little bit different spot. So we're going to go ahead, and our first stitch is a single crochet. So we'll go ahead and get that one done. And these slant stitches are a little easier to see because you have to leave a spot for them for that double crochet. So you probably have guessed this is where our slant stitch is going. So it's going 2 stitches to the right of where it should. So our next stitch is here. Let's see if I can get this to focus right. Our next stitch is here. We will be making the double crochet here, which is 1, 2 stitches to the left. So in the box it says 2L. That means 2 stitches to the left. So we're going to yarn over, and we're going to pick up the front loop of that stitch, and we're going to come back, and there's our slant stitch. Now we want to make sure that as we carry on, we're only skipping 1 stitch behind. You want to pick up that next one, the one that's in between the finish of your slant stitch and the beginning of your slant stitch. You don't want to forget that stitch back there. Sometimes it's hidden. So make sure that you remember that one. And then we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 single crochets. So we've already done 1. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So 11, and we have another 2L. So again, 2 to the left. So right here is where we're going to make that double crochet. And we're not going to forget about the one hidden. 1, 2, we're making 3 total, 3, and we have another 2L. 1. All right, and now we have 11 single crochet again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we'll carry on the row just like that. Now we have another 2L, then we'll have 3 single crochet, and then we'll have another 2L, and then 11 single crochet. So we'll just carry on with the row like that. We'll finish up this row and see how it looks when it's done. All right, I'm coming to the end of round 4 here. I've got 2 stitches left. And I'm going to change color back to color B, drop color A and let it hang there. So that was your first round with slant stitches. And hopefully it went well. Don't get discouraged if you have to pull a couple of them out and redo them, but really it's no different than a double crochet. It's just in a different stitch. So we're going to carry on with the toe part of the stocking. I'll meet you back here in row 20 when we do a 2 to the right. Same idea as a 2 to the left, you're just going right instead. And again, there will be a stitch open ready for that slanted stitch in it. But we'll go ahead and just catch up there. So go ahead and work rounds 5 through 19, and I'll see you back here at round 20. Okay, I just finished up row 19, changed my color over back to color A for row 20. And I made my first 2 of 7 single crochets. So we'll finish up the first 7 crochets in the round. 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we have a 2R stitch, which is the same idea as 2L, you're just going the opposite direction. And if you can see, the antler here is where we're going to be making that stitch. So this is the next stitch. So this is the stitch that we're working. And 1, 2 over is the antler. So that's our 2R stitch. It's going to be a slant stitched work to the right. So we go on that front loop and make a double crochet, and then we're going to skip the stitch that this is going to be in front of, and we will single crochet in the next stitch. So that is our 2R, and we'll make another one of those together. So we have 2, 4, 6 6 total single crochets right now. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we have a regular double crochet. So right below, 2 rows underneath, just like normal. And now we have 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that brings us to our next 2R, which is made in this stitch, and it goes 2 to the right. So we'll make that double crochet. We will skip the stitch that will lay underneath it and carry on with our single crochets that we need. 6 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now we're back to another regular double crochet. So just like the 2L, that's how you do the 2R, and they're just slanted stitches. So go ahead and finish up the next couple of rounds, and let's catch back up on round 24 when we leave an opening for the afterthought heel. I just started row 21, and I thought that it would be beneficial maybe to address that when you're doing some of your double crochets that end up behind a slanted stitch, it's not unusual to kind of have to fish for the front loop of those double crochets underneath that slanted stitch. Sometimes it's covering them up. So just keep that in mind, and that's perfectly fine. And as long as you're counting correctly, you should end up being just fine. Okay, I am just finishing up my last 3 double crochets in row or round 23, and I'm going to change colors again, back to color A, tuck color B aside. All right, so now to start out row 24, we are going to chain 30. And what that's essentially going to do is leave us an opening around the back of the stocking where we can come back in at the end and close it up in the round for the heel. So let's go ahead and chain 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. All right, now being very careful not to twist that chain. I like putting my finger on it on the hook so it can't spin around. We're gonna count 30 stitches and skip 30 stitches. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So we're going to single crochet. Nope, I take that back. We're going to do a 2L in this first stitch. So this right here is stitch number 31. So this is our first working stitch, but we're making a 2L, so we're going to make that in 2 stitches over. So we're going to yarn over and make our 2L. Now we're going to, this was stitch number 31, we're going to skip that stitch because that's the 2L that's on our hook, and we're going to single crochet into the next stitch. So now we've successfully left an opening to come in and fill our afterthought heel in a little bit. So let's go ahead and finish up row 24, and now the rest of row 24 is going to go just like normal. So we've done our 2L, and then we have 3 single crochets in a row. We've already done 1, so 2, 3. Now we have a 2R. That 2R, which is this stitch, goes 2 to the right, 1, 2, same loop that 2L went into. So we're essentially making a V. So we're going to use that same loop, and that's our 2R. We're going to skip the stitch that is the 2R, and we're going to single crochet in the next stitch. Now we're going to repeat this. It's a 5-stitch repeat. Sorry, a 6-stitch repeat. So we're going to do a 2L, 1, 2, 3 single crochet, a 2R, and a single crochet. So 2L, and that's the stitch that's the 2L, so we'll skip that. And we'll do 1, oops, grab some color beyond that, 1, 2, 3. Now we'll do a 2R. We'll skip the stitch that sits behind the 2R and do 1 single crochet. Again, 2L, skip the stitch that the 2L sits in front of, 3 single crochets, and a 2R, and skip the stitch the 2R sits in front of, and single crochet. So you're making V's all along the row, just like that. So go ahead and finish the row, and we'll meet back at the beginning of row 25, and I'll show you how I single crochet into my chain to continue on. Okay, so I finished round 24, getting ready to start round 25, and I just want to have a quick little conversation. Round 25 starts with 30 chains from round 24. So you've got your 2 loops on the top of the chain, front loop, back loop, and then you've got your back bump on the bottom of the chain. We're going to use the back loops. So not the front loops and not the back bump, because we're going to use those both too. But this time, right now, we're going to use the back loops, and we're going to single crochet in each one of those back loops around. So we should have 30 of them. 1. Single crocheting into this chain can be a little tedious, but there's only 30 of them and we only have to do it once. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we're a third of the way through. You can see now why it's really important not to twist that chain when you're making it. This is 3 or 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Oops. Try that one again. 27, 28, 29, and 30, which brings us to, grab the back bump on that one, 30, which brings us to the first, to the 2L that we made. So that's right, our stitch count is right on. So now we'll continue on with row 25 just as written. So our next 3 stitches are double crochets, and they're in between the 2L and the 2R. So they're going to be nice and hidden for you. So we'll yarn over and we'll pick up the first one. 1, 2, 3. And now we have 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3. And now we have 3 double crochet. And that's how the row is going to carry on. 3 double crochet, 3 single crochet all the way to the end. So let's catch back up at the beginning of row 26 and I'll show you those special stitches, our first special stitches. All right, we just finished row 25, getting ready to start row 26 here. Row 26, you're gonna notice, has a red box with an S in it, and that is a special stitch. So what that is a double crochet 2 together, but instead of being directly down below it, it's a 2 to the right and 2 to the left together. So I'll show you what that looks like. Very easy, don't overthink it. It's still just a double crochet 2 together. You just happen to be putting them in a different spot. So our first 2 stitches are single crochet. So we'll go ahead and get those out of the way. So now we're working in the front loops. That's why we left the front loops open of this chain. And then we'll use the back bumps when we seal up the heel. So we're using all 3 parts of this stitch, which is why it's important just to single crochet in the back loop only for row 25 and use the front loop only for row 26 because we'll need the back bumps for the heel. All right, so we've got our first special stitch, which is a double crochet 2 together doing a 2R and 2L. So we're going to yarn over. So this is our working stitch. This is the stitch that we're working in. So our 2R is going to go in this stitch. So it's the first stitch of the row. We're going to, that didn't go well. All right, let's try again. Here we go. There we go. All right, we're gonna partially make it, okay? So we did the first yarn over and the first pull through 2. Now, again, this is our working stitch. Now we're gonna do a 2 to the left. 1, 2. So we're gonna yarn over again. We're gonna go into the front loop of that stitch, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're gonna yarn over and pull through all 3 left on the hook. So you get a little peak that way, and these peaks are gonna form right over your V's from the last row, making little diamond boxes, and they're really pretty. So let's go ahead now. After our special stitch, we have 5 single crochets. So we're gonna skip the stitch that the double crochet 2 together was in. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're gonna make another special stitch, okay? So this is our working stitch right here, the one just to the left of the last single crochet that you made. So our 2R, the first part of our double crochet 2 together, or our special stitch, the first 2R is gonna go 1, 2 right here in this front loop. Okay, so now we'll come back. This is the stitch that we're working in right here. So 1, 2 to the left is here. Make a partial there. Now we're going to yarn over and pull through all loops. So there's our second peak. So we're going to continue around the chain just like that. So we have 5 more single crochets. Okay, and we have another special stitch. Working stitch, 1, 2 to the right. Working stitch, 1, 2 to the left. And now we'll finish the stitch. Okay, like that. 5 single crochet. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. working stitch, 1, 2 to the right. 1, 2, there we go, this one. Working stitch, 1, 2 to the left. And let's finish that up. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is our last special stitch in the chain. So working stitch, 1, 2 to the right, working stitch, 1, 2 to the left. And finish. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I missed one somewhere in there because our special stitch should be the middle double crochet. So let's go back here. Yep, I missed a single crochet back there. It's easy to do, make sure you're counting. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Okay, so now you can see our special stitch over top of our 2R and 2L from 2 rows down. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just doing it into the tops of those 2 R's and 2 L's. And then we have 5 single crochets. And another special stitch. Five single crochets. And we'll carry on just like that to the end of the row. And then you just continue on with the pattern. You have 2 more sections of reindeer, and we'll catch back up when we get to the cuff section. So carry on with rows 27 through 72, and then we'll do the cuff together. Okay, I have just completed the last stitch of my final row, and I trimmed my tail from color B, and I'm going to weave it in. We won't be using color B anymore, so you're all done with that. So for round 73, we are going to half double crochet in each stitch around, and that half double crochet is going to be in both loops, not just the back loop, both loops. So this is a regular half double crochet. So we'll go ahead and do, still working in the round, we're not joining. We'll go ahead and we'll do a half double crochet in each stitch around, all 66 half double crochet. And we're coming to the end of the half double crochet round here. So now we are going to have the next 6 rows are going to be the same. We're going to do a front post double crochet and then a back post double crochet, and we're going to alternate those 2 stitches all the way around, and we're going to do 6 rounds of that, and that's going to give us a nice ribbed cuff that's real nice and stretchy too. So we'll start with a front post double crochet, and then we'll do a back post double crochet. So instead of working in the top loops, you're working around the body of the stitch. So a front post double crochet and a back post double crochet, and we'll just continue doing that all the way around to the end of this first round, and then in each additional rounds we'll be making the same stitches to stack together in a rib effect. Okay, we are coming to the end of our first round of front post double crochet and back post double crochet. You can see where your first one is right here because it sticks up a little bit. Very easy to see. So we've got 2 more stitches here. Our front post double crochet and back post double crochet. Now we're carrying on like that for another 5 rows. So we are going to stack them right on top. So we're doing a front post double crochet on top of the front post double crochet from round 1. And same with the back post double crochet on top of back rows double crochet from round 1. So we're going to keep doing that. This is round 2. We're going to do 6 rounds total. So go ahead and finish up all 6 rounds of those back post double crochets and front post double crochets, and then you're going to fasten off and weave in that tail, and the cuff is done. So then all we have left is the heel and potentially a hanging loop if you want one. So go ahead and finish up the cuff just like that. Okay, we're getting to our final 2 stitches of our 6th row. You can see where you started here because there's just that little bit of a jog at the end of the round. So I have 6 here and 5 here. We're going to go ahead and finish up our last front post double crochet and our last back post double crochet. Now what I like to do is slip stitch 2 times, and that kind of flattens out that jog so that you don't see it as much. And then we're going to cut the yarn, pull it through, tighten it just a little, and we will bury in that end. So let's go ahead and just weave this yarn needle through and thread our yarn on and pull it through. Not too tight because you don't want to pucker it at the top. And there we go. That's it for the cuff. All right, now we are on to our afterthought heel. So we have left this big opening here, and we're going to now fill it in round after round, decreasing so that it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and then we'll hand sew the last few stitches together. And it makes a nice tight cuff that doesn't wave. I hate a wavy cuff. So taking a look at our chart, down at the bottom you'll see the first 30 stitches of our afterthought heel. That's going to be on the bottom here towards the toe. We're going to start out, our first stitch is going to be a 2L, and then we'll have 3 single crochet, a 2R, 1 single crochet, and so on in that pattern. So we're going to attach our yarn in our first missed stitch here on the bottom toe side. So that would be this stitch. This one is connected to the rest. So this is our first missed stitch. So we're going to go ahead and attach the yarn there. With a slip stitch, and then we're immediately going to make a 2L. Okay. Then we're going to have 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to make a 2R using that same front loop we made the 2L in. And then we have 1 single crochet, and then we have another 2L. And then we have 3 single crochets. And then we have another 2R. And we're basically going to carry that on to the end of this round. So 2L, 1, 2, 3, 2R, 1 single crochet. We're using back loop only. I should have said that at the beginning. I apologize, but we're carrying on this particular 30 stitches just like we always do mosaic crochet. So single crochets are in the back loop only. And we've got a 2L. And a 2R. And single crochet, 2L, 3 single crochets, and a 2R, which will bring us to our 30th stitch, which is going to be a single crochet, and it's this stitch right here. We're skipping this one, so this is our last stitch right here. We skip this stitch, and this is our last stitch. So this, stacked with the first stitch on top, we're going to make a single crochet 2 together. So what that looks like, we're going to grab that last stitch, and then we're going to grab the first stitch, first back bump above it, and pull those 2 together. So that's what we're working with there. Now we're going to complete single crochets in the back bumps of the chain that we made. Sometimes they can be a little tricky to see, but what you're going for is 28 single crochets in the back bumps until we get to the next corner. There's 30 back bumps. We just used one of them for this corner for our single crochet 2 together. We're going to use the last one at this corner for a single crochet 2 together. So we have 28 in between that we need to single crochet in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. Now we're going to do, once we finish 28 here, it's being a little bugger. Come on. 28. Okay, now we're going to do another single crochet 2 together. This is going to be over our last stitch in the top row and the first 2L that we made in the bottom row. So we're going to go 1 and 2, and we're going to pull that together. Now and then I find that the single crochet 2 together isn't sufficient to keep a little hole from forming, and what I'm going to do there is grab an extra thread in the corner. So we'll go with that last stitch of that row. I'm going to grab a thread from the center and then finish it with that first 2L we made. And that usually fills up that hole. So if you need to grab an extra thread, that's okay too. All right, so that was the tough round. Ooh, my light got messed up here. Okay, that's better. My light got messed up, sorry about that. Okay, that was the tough round. The rest of this is a whole lot easier because now we're just doing single crochets, both loops, regular single crochet, and we're going to reduce every round. So you did 29 stitches across and then a corner stitch here. And then you did 28 across and a corner stitch here. So you're going to be decreasing by 1 each time. So this time we're going to have 27 across, and we're going to do single crochet 3 togethers in the corners from here on out. And I'll show you what that looks like when we get here. And then after that, you'll have 26 on top, single crochet 3 together, 25 single crochet 3 together, and so on. So let's go ahead and do at least the first one together. All right, so we should have 27 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, so now we have one stitch left, unworked. Then we have our corner stitch, then we have the first stitch of the upper row. So we're going to do a single crochet 3 together over those 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. Pull those nice and tight. And that is going to keep the corner pulling tight together for the whole heel. Now we will have 26 across to our next corner. We reduce by 1 every time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. All right, so we're to the next corner. We've got 1 stitch remaining, and then our corner stitch and the first stitch of the bottom row. So we're going to single crochet 3 together. 1, 2, 3. And pull those nice and tight. So now we just did 26. We're going to do 25 and a corner, 24 and a corner, 23 and a corner, 22 and a corner, all the way to 7 and a corner, 6 and a corner. And then we're going to press them together and sew them. So go ahead and get down to 7 and 6. Do your last corner after 6, and we'll sew it up together, and then look at our leather. I'll show you what I do for a leather strap for a hanging hook. I just got done with my last 6 on my top row, and I made my last corner stitch there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn, and I'm going to leave about a 6-inch tail, and I'm going to pull that through. Now I'm going to stack those stitches right on top of one another, just like that. We're going to take a yarn needle, thread on that tail, and then we're going to take the outside loops. So it would be the front loop of all the stitches if you were looking at the right side. And we are going to, I'm going to lose my tail here. We're going to go outside loop, outside loop. We're going to pull tight. Outside loop, outside loop. Pull tight. Outside loop, outside loop. Outside loop, outside loop. Outside loop, outside loop, outside loop, outside loop. And that is going to seal that up. So then we're going to come down here, and we're going to, whoops, weave in that tail. These nice tight stitches should hold it really nice and secure. We'll go back the other way just for extra. And we're gonna call that good. So now your stocking, I keep bumping my light here. Your stocking should be nice and complete. So the toe and that foot come together really nice. That heel is nice and tight along here, no holes left in it. And then you've got your beautiful ribbed cuff. The last step would be to put a loop on your cuff if you wanted to. And you could crochet one, you could use ribbon, you could use twine, you can use anything you want. I like to use leather, and so I took a strip of leather and I folded it in half and I punched some holes through. And I'm going to sew it to my stocking right here with X's using color A of my yarn. And I'm going to double up the yarn on the hook. So I am going to take a long piece of yarn and fold it in half and then put on my yarn needle. And I'm going to double that up so that it is 4 strands going through at the same time. So I'll make sure my holes match up. I'll make sure it's centered in the back, just like that. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to go through okay, and then we're gonna come through this one. Don't want to grab my tail there, okay. We're gonna go through this one. Just like that. And now we're gonna do the same thing down below. So now we've got nice and secure loop added. We're gonna take this and run it up through here, get a little closer to the tail we left when we first started so we can tie them together. You can also secure it a few more times and then weave ends in. I'm gonna tie a knot just because I like a trusty knot sometimes, and this is one of those times. Okay. There we have it. We have a nice hanger on our cuff, and our stocking is ready to go, and it's beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I had a lot of fun writing the 4 stocking patterns this year. I love the reindeer in this pattern. The evergreen tree next week is really, really pretty too. Very similar. You're going to use, you know, the diagonal stitches again. So I hope you enjoy. Please tag me on social media. I love seeing pictures of everybody's work. So we'll see you next time.